The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Elite Shotgun. They stand behind you. And is fueled by Fiocchi.
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast. Coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays.
Ben Hustway.
Each short Hawaiian person would have to fight 14 kangaroos.
Let's get Anthony on the phone.
You're making a big mistake, okay?
Yeah. We're talking Gianna Santo tonight.
Well, I have something, but I don't know how much everyone's going to like it.
I was not ready for that.
With your hosts, Jason Rambo.
You just didn't want my wife to edit something else you did.
And Sean Alley.
Gotta keep it PG-13, man.
Often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. And now, it's showtime.
Welcome back, everyone. What's up, my large mammal friend?
Well, Jason, doing good, buddy. How about yourself? How's things down in Florida?
Oh, man, the weather is beautiful down here right now. Wish you could see it down here, man. It's really cool.
Oh, I have no doubt. I'll be down there soon enough, of course, at the Dead Pair Blast, and I'll be able to see some green grass and palm trees instead of all the brown leaves and brown, orange, and yellow leaves and dying grass. Yes. And I hope we see everybody else down at the Dead Pair Blast. Numbers are starting to pick up. Confirm with some sponsors today. We're going to have some goodies, some giveaways, more and more. Rangers now kicking in some goodies in addition to everybody else that's already put some stuff in. So it's going to be a good shoot. We're going to have lots of fun. Hope to see everybody down at Vero December 5th through the 8th. So make your plans and come on down and hang out with us. But Sean Alley, we are talking to the Ladies National 2024 Sporting Clays Champion, Miss Gebben Miles. Yes, absolutely. She definitely got the work done out there. It was a very tough field. A lot of ladies were really nipping at the heels of all the top performers. And I'll tell you what, I'm telling you, it's not going to be too long, Jason, before we see one of those ladies at the top of the podium.
I'll tell you what, I'm a big proponent for it, and I hope they do. It's going to be huge for the sport, huge for them. And I love seeing it. I love seeing more women in the sport and competing with us. I think it's great. I love seeing the kids come up through the sport. I think it's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's the best sport out there, period. Hey, speaking of that, Sean, going into Sunday at the Nationals, Desi actually held the lead, and she lost her lead starting off on station one at that tough tower station. She kind of threw the lead away and was, playing anchor there for a while. So, I think Desi ended up third overall for the ladies, but
yes.
Yeah, that's kind of a tough deal, so sorry to hear that for Desi, obviously, but at the same time, good on Karen for, having the perseverance to stay after it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you can't let down. That's the whole thing about the Nationals. It's a 4-day event. Right. You can't let down not 1 minute because it'll bite you in the butt.
That's right. Hey, also, real quick, Sean, we have a tourney talk to get to before we get Karen on.
Yes, we do. I'll do that right now.
It's Tourney Talk. Brought to you by Score Chaser.
All right, everybody, to put on your calendars, upcoming the Browning Briley. It's going to be April 8th through the 12th at Greater Houston. Also, Alabama State, May 16th through the 18th at Selwood Farms. Then we've also got Oregon State coming up July 24th through the 27th at Cresswell Clay Target Sports. And also not open yet, but will be very soon, I've been told, the Georgia State will be open June 25th through the 29th at Forest City Gun Club. Again, Georgia State not open yet, but it might be or be very close to it by the time you hear it. And that is all.
Yeah, that Alabama State's going to be a good one, man. That's an Atlas facility, and I know Tyler Smith, he is doing a lot to make that a good shoot. The people down there are really putting a lot into that shoot. So I think that's one I'm going to check out next year, Sean. I think I'm going to check that off the old barrel list.
Well, you're definitely closer down there than when you were up here.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, hey, listen, let's get Miss Karen on the phone here, Sean. I'm anxious to see what she has to say.
Absolutely. Hey guys, Jason and I really love bringing this podcast to you week after week, but it does take a lot of time and a lot of resources to make it happen. And without these very special people, we couldn't do it on a week-by-week basis. Hey, Toby Tomplay, help these guys remember who they need to support.
Yes, sir. They can support Fiocchi USA, Elite Shotguns, Vero Beach Clay Shooting Sports, Score Chaser, Odo Pro Technologies, Rhino Chokes, RE Ranger, Taconic Distillery, and Atlas Trap Company.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, your 2024 Ladies National Sporting Clays Champion. What's up, Karen Miles?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Karen, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I mean, has all of this really set in yet? Have you really come to terms with being the ladies champion this year?
Honestly, I've had that question asked quite a few times, and each time I haven't really had a perfect answer. Some things yes, some things no. Just kind of going back and reliving it and thinking about things that were good and things that could be better. But it's pretty cool. I'm definitely happy and just enjoying it, and also just thinking for how can I get better for next year.
Well, Karen, earlier this year, you became the 2024 Ladies World FITASC champion as well. And now you've added the Sporting Clays Championship to your resume. Those are two major, major accomplishments. Was there a difference in your training and preparation for this year as opposed to years previous?
Yes, actually. I started working with a mental coach in a way. His name is Anthony Thompson, and I actually started working with him a week before the World FITASC, and he just helped me start redirecting my thoughts to being better, just being more positive, and started asking myself some questions where I had never really thought about certain things before, and it really gave my mind an intention, not only physically, I know my game and I know what I need to do, but mentally, what do I do when things are going well? What do I do when things aren't going as well as I'd hoped? And so that was the only difference that I've had from last year to this year, but it was really helpful. And then also, Steve Schultz, my coach, physically we worked with him a couple times this year, and that was so helpful. We worked with him right before nationals, and that was really a big confidence booster to have some things to work on and to focus on, but then also to just clear the mind and let it happen.
All right. Well, Karen, Jason and I know you pretty well. We've seen you at the top of the podium many, many, many times. You were the 2022, 2023 Ladies World English Champion, 2023 Ladies US Open Champion, multi-time NSCA Ladies Cup Champ. But, looking through this year, you finally got to this accomplishment of winning a national championship. Is there like one particular thing that you can look at this year that made a big difference, or was it a multitude of things, or what do you think actually made it all click and finally put you on the top podium this year?
I think it's a combination of things. I've been so thankful to have won those things in the past, but I do believe your World FITASC and your national championships are two of the harder tournaments to win, simply because they're over 4 days and not 2 or 3. And as all shooters know, it's a marathon, and any given day we can have a really good score, but unfortunately sometimes we have bad days. And so I just think it was me gaining experience and learning how to compete, and we're always learning how to compete, continuing to refine my game physically. But then, like I said, the mental part of it has been huge for the second half of the year for me, and just learning how to think correctly and remind myself of things that are good, and just that positive self-talk. Sounds so simple, but it's so huge, because things are bound to go wrong, and we just need to be able to react better. And when we react better, things don't completely fall apart. And I think that was huge for me. Going into these 4-day tournaments, is you're bound to have a mistake at some point. We're not perfect, but how do we react to that? And I was able to talk to myself better and get myself back into the right headspace to be able to battle, and thankfully come out on top on both of those tournaments.
Well, I mean, I think your answer shows, number one, a lot of experience, number two, a lot of maturity for you to realize all of that. I mean, I think a lot of people that get into the sport and haven't really spent as much time as you have probably don't realize the ups and downs and all the challenges that shooters face, especially with trying to be at the very top of the game. So, I mean, hats off to you. I mean, a huge congratulations for whatever it was that finally clicked and worked this year. But obviously, it didn't just happen overnight, and I think everybody should take that into account.
Well, Karen,
thank you.
Here's the big one. I've been asking a lot of ladies this question. In fact, I think I even asked you when I interviewed you live from the Worlds, How long before or how close are we to seeing a lady HOA a major event?
I think we're pretty close. I think it's bound to happen in the next, I'm hoping for next year because that's one of my goals. And so I think it's close, coming close to the side events. You've had ladies win side events. I've won a couple FITASCs. I was thankful to win, or podium FITASC at nationals, which was a huge accomplishment for me. And I think it's bound to happen. And there's so many ladies that are elevating their game,
Yeah.
and targets are getting better, coaching is getting better, and your athletes are getting better. So I think it's bound to happen.
Well, here's
Hopefully
go ahead.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Well, here's kind of my point. Okay, so your husband Gebben finished the main with a 276, and you were just 5 birds back with a 271. But here's my point: you finished 3rd overall in FITASC, kicking Gebben's butt by a target. You were M4 in K Cup, where you got Gebben by 2. So this is my point. I think we're seeing a trending towards ladies HOA. I mean, sorry if I just made the car ride for you and Gebben a little longer, but but you're getting there. I mean, you're knocking at the door. I want to say it's going to happen sooner than later.
Yeah, that's my goal. It's kind of crazy, but only those couple spots were 2 targets. And 2 targets doesn't seem like that much, but it is. And you always can go back through and be like, oh man, I should have hit this one or that one. But ultimately, when I'm doing my job, it's not about score or placement, but just going to do my job. And when I do that, I believe that's when I'll be able to HOA overall at one of these major events.
Just to extrapolate on that a little bit, we were talking with Desi at the museum there, and right behind her was Amber Brown and Gianna Santo, 1 bird behind her in 3rd place. I mean, really starting to stack the ladies up there. It's good to see, and I think you're right. I think it's high time and probably overtime for somebody to finally put a lady on the top podium spot. So definitely pulling for all you gals. Hopefully see that one time very soon here. But hey, on another note, so Karen, you and Gebben, you not only train together, but you also offer coaching and instruction together, as well as an instructional video series. Can you tell us a little bit more about that stuff that you guys are doing?
Yeah, so we have Sporting Clays Academy. It's an online subscription. It's $30 a month, but we post a video every single week that's anywhere from 7 to 15 minutes long. Some of them are longer, but when you go and you become a subscriber, you get full access to every single video we've ever done. You can go back through and look for rabbits or rabus, chandelles, crows, transitions. We have probably around 200 videos on the subscription right now, and each week we post a new one, so it continues to build. And it's a great way to be able to get instruction when you can't have someone behind your shoulder telling you exactly where you missed, because we all have those targets that we struggle with, and it's like, let's give you a method or just some thought process behind it to help you try to figure it out, even though we might not be behind your shoulder. So we do that, and we're really hoping to grow that and spend some time filming this winter, hopefully having some surprise guests to also instruct on that and grow the following, because it's a great opportunity. And like I said, you can't have a coach behind your shoulder every single time you go shoot. And then we also do our individual coaching. We are based in Arizona during the winter, and then we travel all over the country during season and fly back and forth doing our individual lessons, but then also our combined lessons.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing about the technology these days. I mean, for people that can't travel to you, it's just so cool to be able to get on a video conference or, watch a video on YouTube, or even do a direct, live feed to somebody's iPad or whatever, that you can actually watch them shoot and comment like you're just right there. It's so neat.
Yeah, absolutely. And we really try to engage with all of our subscribers. So it's like, hey, if one of you had a problem at nationals and a problem target, and you're like, Karen, can you please film whatever target it was? We'd be like, okay, cool. Whenever we go to film again, we'll try to set that target up and then do a lesson on whatever that target was. So we really try to have a wide variety of different videos because there's so many different things in sporting clays to learn.
Gotcha.
Karen, I shot with you and your dad at the 2019 Northeast Regional. To see you develop into the shooter that you have become is just amazing. First of all, was your dad at this national? Did he get to see you win?
No, unfortunately, he was not. He started picking cotton the week before nationals, so he couldn't get away. But my mom was, so that was pretty special.
Well, not a lot of people know that, but your dad farms thousands of acres. Can you tell a little history of the family business there?
Yeah, my dad is a third-generation farmer in Arizona, and he personally has about 4,000 acres of his own, but then he does custom harvesting and harvests anywhere from 7,500 acres to 10,000 cotton every year. And so that starts mid-October and goes through January if the weather does what it's supposed to do. So he doesn't get a whole bunch of time to shoot. He did used to, but as seasons of life change, you can get busier, and he loves it. I grew up on the farm. We moved to the farm when I was 4 years old. He put me on a tractor at 8 years old, and I was his combine driver for 5 years. And so I grew up loving it, loving being outside, loving being an operator. That's what we do in shooting too. We're an operator. So it definitely has been a family thing. He also has a few head of cattle, a little feedlot. So that's nice for us with our meals and our travel. We can just throw a bunch of ground beef in the freezer and we're good to go. So
heck yeah.
That is awesome. Well, Karen, I tell you what, I guess the next big question is and with all the major accomplishments that you've already achieved, what's next for Karen Miles? What's left on your bucket list, or what are you going to be striving towards next?
What's next on my bucket list? So what's next is next year, I really hope to compete at a high level against everyone. And that's the biggest thing. The World FITASC was a huge goal of mine for this year. And, once you kind of do that, it's like, okay, what is next? How do we keep that focus? So my focus is just to continue to get better. And like we were just talking about a little bit ago, I would love to be up on the podium at a major overall.
That's
and
awesome.
Do you think that requires so moving forward, I know you probably don't have an exact answer for this, but in your mind, does it require kind of like looking into new techniques or new methods to make you a better shooter, or is it just simply honing and refining the skills that you already have?
Yeah, I think it's more about honing and refining my skills. There is no one perfect way to shoot a target. And so you have to learn yourself and how do you shoot and what are you confident with, but then learning how to shoot with no fear and being confident in what you've decided to do. And I think just gaining experience. This was my 7th nationals, but really I wasn't competing at a high level until 2020. And so just using every single tournament that I go to as experience, I think is what's going to help get me to be able to compete at an overall level more consistently. And towards the end of the year, I definitely felt more confident in my game and more confident in my planning and my execution.
I got one off the wall question for you. Is any of the other ladies, like when you're competing against them, do they make you nervous? Is there anybody that you like, I don't know, maybe you look up to or you're in fear of in competition, or do you just have a totally different mindset to where you just focus on you during a tournament and don't worry about anybody else?
Yeah, it's easy to subconsciously start being like, oh, who shot what, and you worrying about worrying about winning. But ultimately that's not my goal, is to go beat so-and-so or to go beat this person or that person. Is trying to be the best that I can be. And so that's the mindset that I tried to have, is if I do my job, whatever's going to happen. If I do my job and I execute, that's what I'm going to be focused on, compared to, I got to make sure that, this person, but any of the ladies, any given day can go out there and do incredible. So
Yeah.
It's not that they're not a threat. They're definitely incredible shooters and to be respected for sure. But my focus, I try to lean the other way to just go out there and work as hard as I can and take that pressure off of myself, because that just adds pressure and that adds fear of missing.
Yeah.
So I try to focus on doing my job. And then, it's when I shoot with Gebben, it's definitely like, okay, Gebben just did this. Let's work hard like he did, and so he drives me. And but I try not to have any comparison with anyone. I'm trying to just focus on me and my own shooting and my game plan, and try to have confidence that way.
Well, that's awesome. The husband-wife team, it sounds like you guys kind of push each other to an extent, and that's really cool. Karen, it's been since the Florida State shoot back in 2020 that I had you and Gebben interviewed. Remember that, Sean, when I went down there? That was at Blackjack. Yeah.
That's a while ago.
That's been a hot minute. So we want to do a rapid fire with you, Karen. What kind of gun do you shoot?
Krieghoff K80 Pro Sporter.
32-inch barrels?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay. Custom or factory stock?
I have a custom stock. I'm actually shooting Gebben's old custom stock he had built in 2009, just shortened, which is pretty crazy, but it fits and I shoot it well and I love it.
That's awesome. And what kind of chokes do you use?
I shoot Muller chokes, the number 3.
Okay. So you're pretty tight then on your chokes. Ammo, I know you're a B&P girl. What recipe do you run?
So my favorite shells are the Comp 1, 1 ounce, 1160, 7.5 shot.
Excellent. Glasses?
I shoot in the Pila Outlaw lenses.
Okay. And your ear protection?
Odo Pro.
Atta girl. Now, see, we lost you there for a second with the glasses and you came back around, so you're doing all right.
Oh, man.
Okay. And your vest?
Castellani.
Okay, and then we ask everybody this question: what's in your bag? Do you have something odd that you carry, like a lucky rabbit's foot or something? What's something that you carry in your bag that people might not suspect you have?
I don't actually think I have that, other than I carry my cooler with my iced tea in it.
Okay, iced tea girl.
Got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Karen, I know you have some sponsors you want to thank and some people that have stood behind you coming up. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, my family, my friends, the Lord who's given me the opportunity to do this, my sponsors that we kind of just went through, Krieghoff, B&P, Odo Pro, Castellani, Kids in Clay Target Vision. We have Polaris Iron City as well, Shot Cam, Sporting Clays Academy. I think that covers it. Every single one of those sponsors has helped me be where I am and continue to help me be better. So,
well, one last thing before we let you go. We talked about your video series, your subscription series. We talked about your coaching. If somebody wants to get a hold of you or Gebben or both for a lesson or to subscribe, where do they find you?
For the subscription, it's sportingclays.academy. And it's pretty simple to get the subscription. For lessons, you can either DM us through Instagram or Facebook, or also go through our emails as well, gebbenmiles@me.com or karenkshed@gmail.com. I have not gotten that one switched over to Miles yet, but at some point I will. And those are the easiest ways to get a hold of us.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what, I'll find those links and I'll put them right down in the bottom of the show description if anybody's looking for them.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Well, Karen, I'll tell you what, congratulations on a super year so far. And obviously we wish you the very best for 2025. Hope to see you at the top of the podium on a major shoot next year. Keep on grinding, and we wish you guys the very, very best.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you again for having me.
The Dead Pair.
Well, Jason, we've talked about it more times than I can remember. The ladies are definitely gaining ground in this sport, and they're becoming a huge threat to the guys, especially taking that number one podium spot, right?
Yeah, I really believe so. I mean, if you look at the ladies at the top where, you got girls like Karen, Desi, Halen. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, there's too many of them to list. I mean, there's too many of them that are capable of being there. And it's going to happen. One of these one of these big boys is going to slip up and these girls are going to run right over top of them. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
It's coming. It's coming.
No disrespect, no taking anybody for granted. It's just these girls are getting that good. I mean, it's going to happen. So, and good on it. It's good for the sport. Good on the girls, and they work hard too. So, if any one of them does it, they're going to be very deserving of it for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Other than that, I mean, again, I think this is the great thing about this sport. I mean, really, you don't have to be really big and strong. It doesn't help you to be any particular physical attribute. I mean, it helps to be in shape. It helps to be able to move your body, and it helps to have good eyes, right? But other than that, it's about as a fair competition as you can find anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Sean, we talked about a little bit of a surprise, and here's the thing. We're throwing it back on everybody listening right now. And what do I mean by that? Episode 200 is coming. It's going to be out towards the latter part of February, and we are letting the guests decide and the listeners decide on what it is that we're going to do. So Sean and I talked about just telling funny stories. It has nothing to do with shooting, talking about the podcast from start till now. We want you to tell us what you want to hear. We thought about doing a round table, getting, a handful of shooters together and just telling funny stories. Tell us what you want to hear. Do you want somebody just to interview Sean and I? We're giving you guys the floor. We've thought about 100 of cool ideas, and any one of them would be great, but we want to know what the listeners want. So send us an email. There's a send a message button right down in the show description. You can click on that. But get a hold of us. We're too easy to find. Facebook, Instagram, you name it. We're all over it. Send us a message. Let us know. And we're going to do what the masses want. I think it's going to be fun, Sean.
Yeah, one other option we talked about was maybe a bloopers reel. Now, a lot of that's not going to be PG-13. There's going to be a lot of beeps and bleeps and buzzer sounds throughout a lot of that if we actually wind up putting that together. I know Jules has got, megabytes and megabytes of stuff that got screwed up or tongue slips or colorful adjectives or, you name it. It's on there. So
everybody, you sure about this, Sean? Because everybody's going to get to see the real side of you if we do that.
That's all right. Yeah.
So, but anyway, and the other cool thing too, Sean, is by the time this episode comes out, we're going to be knocking at the door of November 24th, which is the 5-year anniversary of this podcast. So, or starts the 5th year of this podcast. So, man, if you stop and think about that for a minute, Sean, coupled with episode 200 coming, I mean,
it makes me feel old.
Not only that, but if you think back to when we started and how we started, it's just amazing that we're at where we're at, I guess you could say. The sponsors that have helped us along the way, the people that listen to this program week in and week out that have come up to us at shoots and tell us how much they enjoy the program. It's been humbling and overwhelming all at the same time. And, very grateful for that. I mean, we were at national championship, and I don't think, Sean, there was any 1 hour of the day when we were out, whether it be on the course or in vendors area, where somebody didn't come up to us.
No, it's humbling, and we take it very seriously. That's why we continue to do this. I mean, it's for shooters and for people getting into the sport. That was our main goal. How do we make this sport bigger? How do we let more people know about this sport? Because we love it to death, right? So we just want to make sure everybody else knows about it.
I had one gentleman tell me, and how many times have we heard this, Sean? You cost me about $50,000 a year.
Oh yeah. And gotten a lot of those over the years.
Right. But to add a double whammy, he said, it wasn't bad enough you cost me $50,000 a year, but then you taught my wife into shooting, and now there goes another $50,000 a year. I said, sorry for your retirement fund, but they love it. And, just like Karen and Gebben Miles, a couple in shooting, and it's what they love. It's their passion. And I think it's awesome. It's great to see it. And to think that we had some small part in that, just truly humbling.
Well, it all goes back to what we tell everybody every week, Jason. Take somebody new shooting, get them out there, put a gun in their hand, take them to a charity event, take them to your course on the weekend. Just put them in a station, throw a few birds, let them whack a few of them, and it will sell itself. We say it time and time and time again.
So, okay, here we are. We're nearing the end of the year, Sean Alley. So I need to know, where are you at with the Dead Pair Challenge? Did you do one a month this year, or did you average one a month?
Oh, I've averaged. I just took, so here's the neat thing. I took the guys that work for me out last Friday. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I took 5 guys out. Hunter, of course, my son, has shot before. But Greg's never shot, Scott's never shot, Hayden's never shot. So I had 5. Or 4. I legitimately had 4 just last weekend. So that makes up for a couple months where I didn't have any. But how about you? Where's your tally at?
Everyone, do you understand now how Sean wins tournaments and stuff? He cheats like this. I didn't say you take a whole football team at one time, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. You got new people out shooting. That's all that matters.
It's the law of averages, man. It all works out the same.
You're not allowed to have a pencil with an eraser ever at a shoot, Sean Alley. So
I don't usually carry the clipboard. Trust me.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. Don't anybody take that literal. But no, I'm actually behind. I'm 2 behind for the year, so I've got some work to do before we round out the season here. So, but hoping to take some more people before the end of the year and to live up. I mean, look, we're the ones that challenged everyone. We need to be the front runners here, right? So, but I've had people text me countless times that they've got, a total of 15 people this year, or 12 people this year, or 10 people this year. And I think that's awesome. That's what we want to hear. So
Yep.
Don't give up on it. Keep fighting, keep taking them out, shooting. The more people we get in this sport, the better it's going to be. So
absolutely. We all need to keep it growing.
For sure. Well, Sean Alley, listen, we've talked our gums off enough here tonight. Can't wait to see you next week, Sean Alley. Until then,
we can't wait to see you all back here on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair. The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Elite Shotguns and Vero Beach Clay Shooting Sports and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Big thanks to the following sponsors: RE Ranger, Odo Pro Technologies, Rhino Chokes, Score Chaser, Taconic Distillery, and Atlas Trap Company.